Hey y'all! Welcome to Benchwarmers Woso podcast, episode
12.
In person.
Yeah.
Finally, we're back.
We're back.
In the studio. Don't have to see us picture in picture. The real live in the flesh. And what a week to come back.
Yeah, what a great week.
Sounds like it,
Yeah.
really. So where do we want to start?
I think we should start with the most influential Manchester derby I think there has ever been.
Yeah, I'd say number two.
Number two?
I think last year for United, it's probably their most influential. But the conviction from my team on Saturday night was absolutely flawless. Yeah. Honestly, I can talk about every minute of this game if you want. I've watched it back. I watched it twice. I was on shift. I was missing parts of it. I only got the first 45. Thank God I got the first 45. Oh my God. But I kind of just want to make this a little bit more interesting because we know everyone knows what happened in the game. Like, we smacked them first half. We controlled the game second half. They had more shots, more possession. They tried to do things with the ball that they couldn't.
And it was easily United's worst game of the season.
And we exposed them and ultimately not particularly able to thrive without their star goalkeeper in the net, being able to play Skinner ball. Clearly relies on Tallis Joyce at the back, giving confidence to the defenders, confidence to play out from the back. But I just want you to just pick a player. Because we won 3-0, I gave every player 3 words. Cool. Let's go through 3 or 4 players that you think you want to talk about.
I think I want to start off with Viv, which of course, right.
Great start.
No, but I want to start off with her mostly because from my perspective, I think this was her most influential game, right? Yeah. She's had very, very good games recently, but it's her most influential in the result, in the way that City tried to play and the type of football that they wanted to put out in the park. Yeah.
So, we got to talk about this because I got some comments online about my words previously. So I stand by my words, by the way, that she is a player. By the way, being a moments player, not a bad thing. Never an insult in my life. If you're telling someone they're a moments player, how many moments do you have doesn't not make you a moments player. However, this was not a moments game for Viv. That was a 90-minute performance. Agreed. But the 3 words I had were leadership,
definitely,
happiness. I saw her smile on the pitch. I saw her smiling mid-derby. I think she just needs it to be an occasion. Yeah. Honestly, she's such a big game player. How many times she did it in North London derby, how many times she would have done it in the Champions League Viola, in cup ties. I think she just needs there to be a bit of stake in the game. When she's playing Leicester, expects to score 6 goals a game. Can't do it from the 10. But then the last word I had was spellbinding. I thought that performance was genuinely, especially the second half, was a midfielder's performance. Obviously the moment, the tackle, the effort, then the ball back to Bunny. Deserved
late
a goal.
in the game as
deserved a goal,
Yeah.
had the energy, look, that was a masterclass. That was a Viv masterclass, and she made Ziggy Oddie look like trash. She made Miyazawa look like Miyazawa of pre-World Cup, and no, they just couldn't handle her. She's unbelievably underrated for her speed, her ability to use her limbs, her long limbs to tackle people. But Dutch masterclass in midfield, really.
I want to ask you about Hempo. First real game back, I thought.
Yeah. So the 3 words I had were genius, return date. I reckon she was fit for about 3 weeks, and they just decided, you want to come back from the Manchester derby? Haven't seen her take a shot like that in my life.
Yep, it was fantastic.
Never seen her shoot from
outside the box.
Yeah,
right?
Oh my God. It was a bit outside the foot.
Yeah.
Top bins. Nothing you can do to stop that. And also her runs. She's come back in the team. First game, Manchester United's top form. That's the best form that I've seen them in. After the Rolfo win, the Rolfo's header to win the game midweek. This was the best form. She's coming up. No games. Nothing in her. And we had Fujino on the other side who was in her top form. and we fed the ball to the first 20 minutes was all the left side. It was all Hempo versus Riviere. They were like, there's no way Riviere can take her on. And it proved it. Like, she just kept going at her, kept getting separation, finding Uwe and LBB in that midfield. I think there was moments where LBB could have done more to help Hempo out and overlap on the right side.
But I think that just goes
on the left side.
I think that just goes to show that even though you have maybe LBB, who's, again, maybe not the most experienced in midfield, it's a very unique predicament where you have such a young player, have such a burden of responsibility in the middle of the park. I never felt like that was going to be the reason why United were going to get back or even score. Like, there was no part of the game where I thought, okay, United have realised that LBB on the ball, she's a bit off it today, the passes were a bit, short or too long. No, like every player covered her, and especially Yui as well.
Yeah, I think Yui was the one who. I mean, my 3 words for LBB were moments, slight passenger. Yeah, like a little bit just cruising the game, not able to get into it the way she was in previous weeks, and Yui is just perfection effortlessly.
I think
they're the only things I can say about her. She just doesn't look like she's trying ever, and she's always ahead of the ball. No one can run with her. I challenge any WSL player out there to run with Yui Hasegawa because they can't. And
we have very slow mids in the WSL.
I mean, your team will get there eventually with slow midfielders, but they looked slow and they've been fast all year.
We have to talk about
who?
Kirsten Kasper.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to talk about... So, I mean, my original words were immaculate game intelligence, but now I'm changing it to top 2 position. Yeah, I don't care who you've got. If you've got Emily Fox at the top, if you've got Lucy Bronze at the top, if you think Riviere's having a good year, sure. She's in the top 2. You can't argue with it. She's got 3 man of the match performances from right back. I think Bunny's stolen one from her as well. Like, her game awareness, her game IQ to be able to get in positions to absolutely break down that perfect cross that she did to Bunny that was centimetres away from being taken by the keeper, centimetres away from being stopped by Jensen. Yeah, I think it was Jensen at the back who missed it. She's making centimetre perfect passes every week.
She's making it look so easy as well. Like it's kind of like she has a formula and she's sticking to it, and everyone else is
no one runs with her. Like it's crazy. Like we play really wide, so our byline is so wide, and we criticised it last week because ultimately at Everton, I mean, Goodison Park's a bit bigger, but I mean, playing at the Etihad's no smaller, but we had Fujino on the right side, and then they switched every 20 minutes, and Hempo on the right side was actually quite good. But they stayed so wide, which allows Uwabi and Caspi to run through. But for some reason, Uwabi gets targeted and marked, but her separation was very good. But Caspi they just let her go, and that's what happened for the second goal as well. Hempo's goal, she had the space. She had all this space to tackle and press, and then play it through. And their left side, like, I don't know what was happening, but Leah Galton was just getting absolutely crucified on that side.
Oh, well, Leah Galton just didn't look fit. Honestly, she just didn't look up for it.
But she hasn't
played.
And
that's the thing. It's just like, I mean, I know that there are injuries. I get that. But sticking a player in like that, who, in my opinion, has passed her prime. I've seen a top Galton. I mean, to the extent of how much you want to rate a United player in the times that she was the prime, because they weren't necessarily that good. But I personally thought she looked completely out of her depth, like just completely.
I mean, all you're going to remember from that derby, if you're thinking about Leah Galton, is that moment with Jade Rose, where Jade Rose just gave her the Harvard special. I don't know. There's nothing else to say other than Jade Rose had an absolutely spectacular game.
I can't think of any United player, and I know you have 3 words for each of them, but I can't think of any United player who stood out in that game. Like, honestly.
Look, I think it was. I think it was crazy in terms of the way in which we targeted Ziggy
Yeah, agree.
I think we just full on like my 3 words for Ziggy Omo are target her Wolfsburg. Like this week, City, the game at Wolfsburg in the Stadio Volkswagen, 30,000 people. If you're in the midfield for Wolfsburg, just target her. She's the gem that holds that midfield together. And if you play her off the park, you'll see the cracks start to fall, because Letitia got a lesson in forward craft from Bunny Shaw, and I expect Alex Pop to do the same. But I mean, Jensen, Bunny did not care. That's just the game right there. Like,
do you think that Manchester United are suffering a little bit from Walsh syndrome, which to me which to me is basically a player who is so instrumental to the system that when you take them out, when you mark them, when you push them around a little bit and they can't really get in the game.
This is an Arsenal fan.
No. This is an observation from somebody who recognizes the hype of Kira Walsh, but also understands that she's a player with a lot of frailties, and those frailties usually come from the fact that when she's marked, the system around her kind of crumbles. And I think the same is happening with Ziggiotti.
She's a metronomic player, and I think Ziggiotti is that metronome.
I think that's actually a compliment to her, by the way.
Obviously, it's. I mean, whatever team Kira Walsh is in, whether it be when she was at Barcelona, whether she's in England and whether she's at Chelsea, she's always been a crucial figure for how the speed in which they attack.
Yeah.
But Ziggiotti's attempting to do the same. We targeted that. They need other options. Miyazawa was slightly passengered as well with LBB. And I mean, we'll get to Jess Park eventually. I want to talk more about Liz Turlin starting over Mallard because Mallard wasn't fit for the game. And I mean, she played the second half, but damage was done.
Well, the explosiveness was lost easily.
Yeah. Well, what's the point of bringing on Mallard when you have midweek? You have midweek against VFL, a tough side. Both teams looking to qualify. You need to beat them. What if you're 3-0 down? What's the point of you expect a remontada in 45 minutes? I don't know what that was from Skinner. I feel like it was a hit and hope. I feel bad. I actually felt bad for Middleton Patel, which is hilarious.
I didn't. Because fundamentally, you have to realize that you're second keeper in the WSL. There is no other position, in my opinion, in which a player goes down and you are imperative to coming in and doing well. Yeah. And I'm sorry, you can't be, second class in that rate the way that she was. I mean, her passing out was terrible.
Oh yeah, we'll 100%.
Her control of the defense was woeful, and I feel like the two centre halves were more concerned about their goalkeeper than they were about Bunny Shaw.
Yeah, it was crazy how good we were, how how impressive we were across 90 minutes. I expected us to concede. Obviously, we concede every game. Even Everton shipped a goal against us, and we'll talk about Everton at some point. But this was the most antithesis of United this year, and the most antithesis of us. This is the peak of our form, and then we'll get into your lot after. But to celebrate such a monumental moment, obviously, I had to write a song, right? But I thought every derby we have to do it the same way because it's a derby, right? The story will change, but the moment is the same. So I've decided to introduce a new character to you. So today I am Mank Sinatra. Right? And we're gonna do a cover. I'm gonna do a cover of My Way. But I'm gonna each lyric, it's slow. It's a slow song. Everything is on the nose.
Okay, sure.
We'll do it simple. We don't have to use the whole clip. We might cut out the whole thing. We might cut out the whole thing if it's really not good. But I've done it in a way in which I wrote this late at night. So this was after the game. I finished my shift 4 a.m. This is a 4 a.m. night. Okay. So we'll see how we go. But this is Derby. I'm so nervous. So now the game is done, and I must judge the Manchester Derby. 3-0 win, I'll say it clear. United were lost and fatigued, I'm certain. Bunny and Viv, they fought and pulled. They travelled in pairs and pressed in a highway with Hempo support. Fujino on the ball in such a precise way. United regrets. They had a few. Tried playing out from the back with goalie number 2. AJ did what he had to do, controlled the tempo, and without exemption, Jade Rosenkanak stopped runs in the box, with Caspi in advance along the byway, and more, much more than this, their moves won the derby. Yes, there were times United confidence grew, but their build-up was slow, predictable and narrow too. No trust on the ball, as there was doubt. Our backline ate it up, and we stood our ground. We controlled the ball. Yamashita stood tall to set the tone in the derby. Wait for it. Kanak header 1-0. Then Caspi cuts inside. New AJ combinations that he was fusing. Vivian made a mark, watching her glide, defending the ball, and even producing. To think she did all that. Player of the match, I say. United was shite, eh? Only Sonia Renee. And my goat AJ, that is this season's title race. For what was his plan? What Mark Skinner thought? After playing midweek, his conditioning wouldn't be caught. Leah Galton got smashed. Yui outsmarted Toon. And Jessica Park was ghosting Toon. The first half showed AJ tactically owned Mark Skinner in the derby. Da 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 da. Blue fucking moon. Da 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 da. You're fucking shit. Mark Skinner shit. That's all I've got. That's it.
You went from like very softly spoken to like Sinatra levels of insanity.
Yeah, it's Mank Sinatra.
Yeah,
I had to do it, but that is all I really have to say about
That's
the
just
Darling.
it.
I think that covers it. And now we're going to talk about everyone else. The inferior clubs. For now.
Yeah.
Before my team goes on a slump. Let's talk about Liverpool-Chelsea. Sure. A low-key stink fair.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to say other than the fact that this was kind of like hilariously predicted online that that Gareth Taylor in the current form that he's in, Sonia before the game goes, the form is not a proper indication of how they're playing on their pitch, and then 1-1. And then their only shot on target was their only goal, and it was AT basically doing what AT's done for the last 2 years in the NWSL, which is run on that side and cut inside and with no defense at all.
What did I say? Last week I was like, guys, never bench Kat Macario again. Does Kat Macario not know the leggy curse? It exists.
So that was the plan.
And it was the plan the whole time. She had a stinker, absolute stinker.
Yeah.
When ABJ came on,
oh my God,
it renewed life into what looked like a dead Chelsea team, honestly.
Yeah. She should have scored.
Yeah, I mean, ABJ had, 3 chances in a row? It was
like 5
insane.
minutes.
But, I mean, we can't forget that Liverpool have been, party crashers in the past for Chelsea. And I feel like at some stage you have to reconcile with the fact that Chelsea are just not the team that they once were. Definitely. They look very tired. They look lethargic, honestly. Like the system is just becoming overwhelming for them. It's like they're so system focused that they're forgetting players like LBJ can come on and do the job because instinctively she wants to score goals.
LBJ, LeBron James. LJ came on as well.
Well, LJ did come on,
She did very little again.
Nothing.
But Beta Olsen, we have to talk about that counter. And Lily Woodham, who honestly I can gladly say is one of the most underrated players in the league. I actually think she'll cop a move. If they go down, she's WSL level. Like,
well, I think there are a couple in Liverpool.
she was controlling midfield at points of that game, like taking on the aggressive 10 role, which not a lot of teams do now. Like, we don't have that aggressive 10 who just presses in that way. And I mean, obviously Viv was doing it in the derby, but we don't see that from Viv every week. Whereas Lily Woodham, just, she's going to try her ass off every game. And I think she's definitely just set up that... I mean, was very lucky it bounced off Bjorn. But to Olsen to finish that, how many times have we seen that kind of shot scuffed or saved? I mean, the question would be, if Hannah Hampton was in goal, does she save that? Or you can't really judge, and Liv Peng did her best. And
I guess what you have to ask is, I think Liverpool are a team where you give them an inch and they either take it or they don't.
They regress. They fell in.
And this was Liverpool taking their chances. I think at the end of the game, though, you saw both teams very tired, and I don't actually necessarily think that it was Liverpool's fault that they couldn't get 3 points out of this, especially on the final passage of play.
Oh, that could have been it.
I just think, that's just showing that 90 minutes in the WSL can take a lot out of you no matter where you are on the table.
And it's thematic across. We'll get to your team eventually, but the three teams that are in the UCL already look wrecked.
Yeah,
they look knackered.
Definitely.
Liverpool were definitely at points getting more possession than I've seen them get against much weaker sides.
Well, they got a goal.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that was screaming out.
That was crazy. But ultimately the ability to stop Chelsea's run. I mean, I think there's a lot to say if I'm Sonia. Sonia didn't actually attend the press conference, which is interesting. So not a lot for her to say.
Well, I think we actually saw a similar game like this earlier in the season with Villa and Chelsea. Very even around the 60th, 70th minute. And then Chelsea just shifted a gear, especially when Sam Kerr
was
came
that?
on.
Where was the
But
shift?
that wasn't there because they're gassed.
Yeah.
So you're seeing the ramifications of midweek football come and actually have its impact in the WSL, in domestic ball.
If I was ABJ, I'd be fuming. She's scored 4 goals in 4 starts. If she was playing every game of the WSL so far, she would be top goal scorer alongside Bunny. There is absolutely no reason for her not to start in that game, especially if you're playing Barcelona next week. You have Kerr, you have Macario, you can get her to play another 45. You just used Kerr as well. I assume you're saving Kerr for Barcelona.
I just don't think that there's any striker in Chelsea where I can immediately go, that's a style of football that will, worry Barca. Like Bunny, when she played against Barca, to me, I was like, okay, well, this is a player where they're actually actively going to have to defend.
Attributes are incomparable.
Yeah, ABJ, I would be concerned about maybe her speed, but Macario, I mean, she's
would take her
but Macario is a pseudo 10, so all they have to do is basically bank up mid. Yeah,
and they do that anyway. That's their natural football. So the only one that can counterweight Barca and not make them nervous, but give them something to think about is Kerr. And I assume she didn't get many minutes because they're saving her for this game, and I'm excited to see Sam Kerr against the top level because that's basically this is the time to show all you've been working on for the last year and a half. But ultimately, I think there were a lot of decisions they thought they could get away with it. One eye on the UCL, and they got caught out. And I love that they dropped points because it means we've got a barrier now, And also, I mean, United are very lucky that Chelsea dropped points as well because it keeps them in the grasp. But there were 3 other games going on that I probably should have been watching instead of this game. One of them being Villa and LCL. Villa. Arroyo. What happened? What the hell? So last week, you tactically masterclass Skinner. And don't get me wrong, you gave us the blueprint, and I will forever be grateful for that. But also, we didn't even mention Ziggy Oddie gave away the ball how many times? 3 times, and 14 duels lost. How many people lose 14?
Okay, Ben, we get it. You won the derby.
Yeah, man of the match, Ziggy Oddie for us. but they gave us the blueprint, and then LCL just decided to pack them in at home. which is crazy.
This looked to me like kind of the LCL that was promised, you know, like
really, is this the level?
No. Well, I think that this is a level, right? I don't think this is a consistent level or albeit an attainable level to have for the rest of the season, because I do think injuries, etc., like that'll just happen. But I think Villa really underestimated LCL, and I think LCL tactically understood who they were facing up against, where the weaknesses were. I think Kumagai played her best game I've seen, not only for LCL, but in the last maybe 3 years.
Yeah, Jesus. We're talking about, again, Kumagai, we're talking about one of the great all-time players.
Definitely.
But she definitely squeezed out she's like an old orange that you just squeeze out a bit of juice. And that was, it was a peach of a header, 2 headers actually. But the first one is crazy to get her head on that. The fact that ball bounced from the corner was the indicator that they were going to score from it. But it is a very good finish. To beat the far post player with that header is so precise. But, Kumagai's been doing it for longer than nearly we've been alive.
Yeah.
So
I just find that, naturally in midfield, connections are going to arise. I feel like Gioro and Aslani are finally kind of on the right page. And I think that's interesting because I've always thought of Giora as a very flair type midfielder. She's not very held down by system, but I actually think now the system is complementing both of them. I think Aslani naturally takes up a more higher position, a position actually meant for her authoritative figure in the team. Like, she is the captain, so she will be able to dictate higher up in the field. And I think her and Giora are now working very well together, especially in the final third.
Oh, definitely. And I like that. I like that Villa could have ended this game early. So Hansen hits the post. She does end up getting her goal, but my issue is that with LCL, their experienced players are linking up better, as you said, but also their youth are linking up better. So that second goal, which was the second goal was Kumagai, but Jana's cross got flicked to Godfrey, and Godfrey plays that ball to Goodwin. Godfrey and Goodwin look like they want to be the other segment of LCL. So obviously we know about the LCL experienced players, the 30 plus that we've talked about, but the youngsters are definitely putting it together. And Freya Godfrey, as I said last week, that performance looked like an England call-up performance, and now she's just been called up for England. And look, she's a player that they're going to look at 100%, especially if LCL keep climbing the ladder. But you can't really say much more than the fact that their experienced players are linking up, their youngsters are getting better, and the youngsters will only get better training with some of the most experienced players, Champions League winners, League Cup winners. This is a very good place, albeit not a top club, to learn from the best.
Yeah, and I think, we can kind of go on to talk a little bit about the controversy, which I found wasn't talked about naturally because it's not, the big 4 teams in the league, and it's, when in the same time as 2 other games. Yeah. But the final passage of play in which I think it was Kumagai actually who passed the ball back, flicked on to, or it was a short pass back to the goalkeeper, which didn't make it, and then the Villa player pounced on it, was going to go 1v1 with LCL's keeper, and the ref calls the whistle.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And to me, that's shocking refereeing. I recognise that this is the ref's first WSL game, but I've heard he's a very controversial EFL referee.
There you go.
I don't know. I think that, these are just decisions about game management, and we talked about game management with referees. I just kind of hated the fact that it came down to that, in that first half, came down to that stupid call.
Yeah, but again, it's moments. Obviously Villa, a goal would have changed that, and that 1v1, there's no guarantee.
No, sure.
But if Hansen took her chance in the 6th minute where she hits the post, and Lucia Kendall, who played that ball, I actually think Lucia Kendall might be the future of England. I think she's she's very good. Like, every time I watch her play, she runs Villa's midfield in a way that is very England-like, because they play that 3 at the back. And Wiegman has a lot to choose from, but if Wiegman wanted someone for their international games where they're just packing the midfield, want to control, she can do it. But take your chances. Don't leave it up to the ref. I recognize that the referee quality across the board is low. Imagine the referee quality the lower leagues get if you're getting the top, and this is how it's treated. But you got to take your chances. Football is razor thin margins, and I think it is harsh. I think Sam Allison made mistakes and has made mistakes before and will make mistakes in future, and it'll come up and you'll have a repertoire and a CV of all the things you do, because that's what happens to refs. The same way that I can pull up a CV of every time Stina's missed a chance.
Hey!
But we celebrate when they get things right, and I think that's the key, is that we have to be looking at refs with a bit of a rose tint and be like, yes, he made a poor decision, but he kept going. Yeah. The second half was good, and there were moments for both teams, but ultimately LCL ran away with it. Yeah. And how high can they climb is the question.
I think this is their peak.
Do you think this is their peak?
Yeah,
top 5,
yeah,
top
because
6?
I don't know what Kang's going to do mid-season transfer. Yeah. I presume it'll be a lot. And I've heard talks about Trinity Rodman.
Exactly.
Which would be an absolute downgrade, which I think is funny because you're going from the Yankville to WSL.
Yeah, but it's Kang 2 to Kang 3.
Yeah, I struggle to think about what type of players.
Who can afford Trinity Rodman?
Well, yeah, I think Trinity Rodman's a player where you're having to basically shape a flank off of her.
Yeah.
Because she's not going to do the work centrally. She's probably not going to run back as much as you like her to.
Back.
And so you're going to, kind of like what Chelsea's have to do with Alyssa Thompson, have to make accommodations. And I don't want to be the team that has to make accommodations. We have enough flank players, but
you have Liv Smith. You don't need a Rodman.
Oh, have you met Arsenal? Have you met Arsenal's recruitment staff?
You are techie winger merchants. It is crazy, but I just think the only two teams who can realistically get her are Chelsea and LCL. I think United could, but United also just don't. Again, it will depend on their UCL. I think Rodman wants to play European football.
Yeah. Well, she's not getting that at LCL.
Yeah, but she would get that at Chelsea. And I think Chelsea are the kind of clientele that would go, you know what? Let's have a front three.
How disappointing that would be for
Macario, Rodman, Alyssa.
No.
And run the show with them, because they don't trust the output of said players, and it showed in that game.
I recognise that you don't. I was just about to say,
JRK is the kind of player that we love watching. She's absolutely aesthetically pleasing on the ball and creates chances, but they're low percentage chances. And when they go in, it's, wow, how good is she? Yeah. But if we're talking about genuine output, I think you could argue Trinity Rodman has a higher, just impact player in that comparison of just goals and assists.
Sure. I mean, you can agree to disagree, but I personally think Rodman is not suited to WSL ball. I think I think look, you can clip this, you can do whatever. I think she's genuinely just too dumb.
Yeah.
I think she's too dumb.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I don't mind that, but I think that's wild. I think she's good. I just think it is crazy. Her PR is crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
She isn't as good as people think.
Her PR levels are higher than her IQ levels on the ball. I'm sorry.
I think her IQ level on the ball will be shown in the WSL, and it will be shown to be better than you think.
Okay, sure.
But I think that she's a moments player. This is the thing. She is a moments player. She comes on, has her cameo, does her job, but she's not. Again, the PR that comes with her is great, but it's not easy playing UCLW ball. If she came in this week to come in to play Barca, I don't think
she could completely run off her feet.
Exactly. But we'll find out soon enough where she goes, because if she goes to LCL, then there's no saving her. But she's already Kang pilled, so who knows. West Ham and Everton. Yeah, this is right. The FA played 4 games at the same time. Again, we'll get to that more later. But West Ham, a team that we have crucified for the last 8 weeks, have decided to turn up against one of our favourite managers, a team that we thought would actually climb the ladder a little bit, Everton. But a Sorensen disaster class.
This was a fantastic mid-table, lower table
scrap.
Yeah, it was great, because to me, it just goes to show that on your day, West Ham have had the players to do this all season.
Where was this?
Exactly.
And what do I say about Shakira as well? Once you give her a goal,
exactly,
the purple patch begins. So she got her second goal. You had Asai whipping it in, and they had all their players doing the job. Denton's got across. I don't really know what Everton's keeper was doing. Ramsey, I feel like she could have done better there, but I mean, they were 3-0 up in 60 minutes or something like that. But I don't know. It's Everton have so many chances, and it took Snoyce to come on to get the consolation. I think Snoyce should start. I don't know if he's fully fit, but without Kelly Gago on the field, they are not the same team.
Do you think that there's, even with West Ham, Everton, but even in teams like Brighton and Leicester, there's just such a disparity between their best players and the rest of the pack that when those best players are out, you really kind of see their true colours of innate mediocrity. They kind of perpetuate their own mediocrity.
It's tough. And then, I don't know, it's just so weird. Like, we watched Everton's midfield run over us last week at Goodison Park. And then they go away to West Ham. And West Ham's midfield, I mean, Gorry was sensational.
I know. I was like, did Joe call her up and be like, you're not going to get a...
box to box Merchant went crazy. And I think, I mean, it shows when she's on, she can play in that too really, really well. And, I mean, the amount of recoveries, the amount of clearances she had, she was fantastic. I actually think it's probably her or I'd say Shakira, but I think her. I think she was man of the match, player of the match. And shout out to Gorry because, I mean, Gorry's, had a few iffy moments this season, a few iffy games. For
but this is the reason why they have her at West Ham. Her leadership, her ability on the ball, her experience.
You sound excited talking about her brilliance. I mean, she's amazing. And I mean, the more she plays like this, the more to validate her position in the WSL as someone who should be looked at as like a veteran for West Ham. And she can keep playing and keep playing. If she's playing at this level, there's no taking her off. She could be the first name on the team sheet for Skinner's girls. But yeah, that's all I really have for West Ham as they climb the table, taking over Liverpool. But now we have to talk about Vidicic, the mastermind who does it once every 6 weeks. But when they're on against a team that's worse than them, they look like Barca. It's Brighton Lona.
And that is what it is about, like, so anti-pragmatic ball, like idealism ball, right?
Idealism. Like when it comes off.
Yeah, when you're playing a team that kind of just...
Athletic ball.
When you kind of play a team that allows you and just goes, you know what? Yeah, just play however you want to play. We don't care. That's how Leicester kind of approached this match. They were like, they'll run themselves around in circles. We'll capitalize on a bunch of transitions. Nope, because Vidicic ball will...
What interceptions?
Yeah.
What transitions? There was none.
Nothing.
But, I mean, this is the opposite, the antithesis of West Ham and Everton, where if you take off Martinez, you take off Snoyce is not fully fit, or someone's out, then the second tier is not good. No Kirby in this game. Yeah. Kafaji's on the bench, and you have Mpume and Seika running the show. Yeah. Seika was unbelievable, and Simmons from midfield was just absolutely brilliant. Haley started in this game, and just the beautiful football was fantastic. Ollie Slager's back on doing the business. I mean, she got called up to the Dutch national team as well. I wonder if she gets in though, because there are a lot of options on that left side. I mean, I'm thinking about Esme. I'm thinking about Janu.
Well, Esme's injured.
Yeah, so maybe she's got some time to show herself. But I mean, there is just this combination, this goal. I think it's the third goal, I believe, because Simmons, the last goal was the parry, and then Seika scraps. She deserved a goal, that rebound goal. But the third goal, 86th minute. Anyone want to watch this clip? This is crazy. Yeah. But the throw in and then the 6-pass combination between the three of them, and then she gets her own throw in back and pings it into the bottom left corner. That was Vidicic ball.
Yeah,
you could tell they'd done that on the training ground, and Leicester just got the business. They got overrun. Shannon O'Brien, shout out for the goal, because that's 2-2 now. But again, just not enough. And when Vidicic is cooking, I genuinely think I'm watching a top 3 side sometimes.
Well, this is kind of like what I saw with City, right? Like when he was manager at Melbourne City, it was very much, they were obviously the best team in the league, right? And the question always lies, like it is when you're not on the continent, how would they fare in Europe? Yeah. And then we got to see the opportunity, and I honestly think he's taken it and he's done really well with this team. They look like so bought into this system.
Yeah. It's only when they don't get to play that ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? When they don't
it's dominate, the defense for me.
They don't dominate their line. Their line gets pushed too far back. Their press is weak because their press only consists of those 2 strikers up front, and they don't get to move. And again, no Adjumang, no Kirby, Kafaji coming on for a little cameo. The system works,
Yep.
which is what he cultivated in Australia, and now he's cultivating in England. And I think if he should be looked at as a manager that has the ability to build a project for a bigger side. And I'm not saying that Brighton aren't a big side. I just think that there are opportunities that will come, and whether it's I don't know for him if America is an option. I don't.
God, hope no.
I think as an Australian, he probably doesn't like America as a concept. For him to manage, but I think he should be looking at a club. I don't know what he wants out of management at this point. Whether he wants to. The goal is to accrue trophies. If you want to accrue trophies, you have to move to bigger clubs.
I just think Dario is not a player manager in the same sense that I think that he doesn't rely upon having big players to impact his system. I think that he works with the players that he has, and those players will naturally, finally, in Brighton's case, start to really click and put results like this down.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I need to see it more. That's the thing with Dario. If he develops his consistency, I don't see why Atleti wouldn't go in for him. I don't see any reason why a team like Frankfurt wouldn't come into him. I mean, again, he's a bit wabi-sabi, but we'll get to wabi-sabi FC eventually. But then, after this 4-game shambles that we had the most intense, exciting, brilliant game I've ever seen, ever, alongside the North London derby. But we'll get to that brilliant, exciting game later. But, God, I mean, North London exhibition, as we usually call it, that was a derby. That was actually a derby.
I don't know if it was a derby.
Because
go on.
You were schnitzel.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a derby. I felt like it wasn't a derby. I felt like it was a practice match. I genuinely thought that those players went out and were like, okay, so let's practice our passing patterns and let's see how set pieces work out for us.
Little Dutch triangle.
Yeah, I found that to be one of the most frustrating games, and compounded by the fact that it was a North London derby. And I won't take this whole like, oh, the women's North London derby is different to the men. No, if you're going up against your opposition and it happens to be your crosstown rival, you want to show up. And sorry, the only person who showed up in that game was a Canadian.
Yeah, Liv Smith. Yeah, she did it. She was really good in that game when she came on. She was fantastic when she came on.
But yeah,
there's a lot to talk about. So firstly, I want to talk about Renee. Straight away, Renee. Yeah. What do you think of Renee's performance in that game?
So Renee right now is pretty much showing us why she was the best fit for a team that was broken emotionally last year and pretty much needed her and what she could bring to unify a squad that was systematically and talent-wise fit to, have any title race, fit for a UCL run, right? Now it comes to the stage where we're questioning Renee's coaching, not her management, her coaching. And I do think that her squad selection, and I don't know how much this is forced on by injuries. Okay, I don't. I'm not in the back rooms of the Emirates.
She is, but you can't say.
No, yeah. But
NDA.
I do think, and I mentioned it last week, there's a level of misadaptation. The idea that you are playing a game of football and you think it's going to go your way forever and your style is going to be the one that permanently lasts in 90 minutes is so naive.
That's the word I was going to use.
Definitely.
I think that whole performance was naive. I think she thinks she can get away with things, especially with eyes on the Champions League, which you do need to focus on with 2 losses already. I think she, again, slow start, your second slowest start in WSL history, which is crazy, but I think she doesn't know her best 11.
But this has been the thing. This has been the thing all season.
Yeah.
And I don't take that we have equal players across the bench and the starting 11, and it's so difficult for you, Renee. No, there are better players.
Like who? Like that one behind you?
Yeah, that one behind me. Who's Kim Little, right?
Yeah.
I understand that she is under injury right now. I get that. But there is a player there, right? In Frida Marnham, who is so inarguably one of our most talented players on the ball, one of the biggest cogs in this system.
I thought she was the second striker.
I really appreciate that Renee. You know what? Okay,
Frida Nazareth.
This is how you know that Renee. I'm not even gonna.
like the way she plays her is like she's a 9, like she's a centre forward. When I started watching Freedom Arnhem, I was like, wow, what an 8, what a progressive box to box. You have Little at the base, you have Frida in the 8, and you have Mariona in the 10. You get Mariona's expansive play. I thought after the Bayern game, it was pretty obvious litmus test to be like, wow, when Mariona's further forward, wow, look what happens. The second best player in the world turns up in the position that she's designated to. But we're back to square one. You're playing 4-4-2 again. You're playing the 2 in midfield, which is what? KCC and
Mariona.
No, it's KCC Mariona, yeah? Where's the defensive capacity in that midfield?
This is what I mean about Renee and her staunch approach to the style of football that we want to play. We have one good game in the 4-4-2, and that's what we're doing for the rest of the season.
And it was against who?
It was against Leicester.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't necessarily recognize this management style for a team that is so obviously has the characters in there. Stina, super sub.
Yeah.
Mariona, an 8, a progressive player, the metronome of this team. KCC, someone who can come on.
8.
Yeah, an 8, someone who can come on and put a bit of liveliness in there.
Yeah, disruptor.
Liv Smith and Caitlin Ford, our starting wingers. I don't care. The Beth Mead experiment is over. I am so glad that you were able to...
76 assists. You're done.
No, look, for me personally, I'm so glad that Beth Mead, that Renee has encouraged Beth Mead to play the type of football that she's played to get us all these assists, because I don't actually think that was the style of football that she was playing later last year. I think, I think the Champions League was a bit of a shining light
over her performance in the league.
But personally, what we saw from Olivia Smith, for me, was so obviously a player that is just desperate to get minutes, and the hunger is there. I didn't see it
She wanted to win. She was the only one who I watched. I was like, wow, she wants to win. No offense to Alessia Russo. I think she's clearly the most, obviously when with every player in Arsenal is on, she's the prime. She's the magnum opus. Where was she today? She was too far. She was too far deep inside of Koga's pocket. That's where I saw her. She was just sitting next to her, waiting for a pass that she wasn't getting because Stina was occupying the space that she usually is in.
And then my question is, does Renee and the players, by the way, realize the type of players that we have? Why are we making long balls where Stina has to control it like, I don't know, Prime Busquets in the 9? Well, I don't understand. I don't get it. She cannot control a football. She cannot control a football. That's obvious, right?
You just play it ahead of her.
Just play it ahead of her and
floor.
make her run.
Yeah.
And it's like we're forgetting that there are players on the park that have jobs and have roles, but because the system trumps all, these players have to shoehorn themselves into a failing system.
The Tony G 4-4-2. It genuinely feels Tilly-like. And I think, no offense to Renee, I think it's hard to say someone's like 10 years in jeopardy after they win a European Cup. But the reality is, if you guys don't make Champions League, which I think you will, you should, but if you come fourth and you're playing Europa next year, she will get crucified.
Okay.
You will get crucified.
So this is something I've thought about. This is something I've ruminated on, if you will.
But you better.
I think, right, naturally I want to win the Champions League this season. I want to win the league. I want to win everything. We're going to win everything, right? But if it takes a spell in the Europa, if it takes another season of domestic ball like we had in 23-24 to come back stronger the season after, we have to think of the long term.
Champions League hangover a little bit.
I think a lot of the players have Champions League hangover, but I think genuinely I don't understand short-termism in football. I think long-term is where you go, and I understand these players have expiry dates, but a lot of our squad now is kind of building up to that second of 3 phases in their career. And now I want that second phase to be building phased for another great Champions League and league run in a couple years' time. Because right now this team is not going to win anything. It's not even going to win a Conti Cup.
That's the first time that she's admitted it. Finally, it's done.
Look, we're in everything.
4 trophies attempted.
We're in everything. We're winning the quadruple. But I also am a realist.
Next year. You're winning the quadruple next year. But, I mean, we are definitely taking advantage of the fact that you guys have Champions League, Chelsea has Champions
definitely.
League, United has Champions League. They all have eyes elsewhere. And you can tell United are definitely going for it, which is crazy because I thought that their goal is to cement back-to-back Champions Leagues so that they can say, you know what, we're a Champions League club. The reality is for Arsenal, next year, when United have more money from playing in the Champions League, Chelsea are going to keep spending. We're going to spend if we get Champions League time, or if we win the league, we will spend. What is the draw for Arsenal if you want to play Europa? Unless you have to make a big case to big article players and say, you're going to be a part of the first Europa League that includes all the clubs, and you're going to win it. And that's probably the big draw for you. But I don't, and maybe you can say, you know what, you're going to be playing in front of 20,000 or 30,000.
No, you're going to be playing in front of 50,000.
50,000 every week, and that's great. But there's a point at which you have to either trust the players or trust the manager.
But what's the draw for LCL, right? Like, what's the draw? It's because the
LCL's
name...
different. LCL's money.
No, but
LCL is money.
I think, yes, sure. But I also think project. I think notoriety, especially...
Notoriety's fair.
And I think about this in... If I'm taking myself outside of Europe, and I don't like to do this because I don't love the idea of Yanks coming over, but if I do think about Americans coming over, Sam Coffey, then I look at the fact that we have established status overseas, right?
You're European.
Yeah, exactly. But more than that, we're a destination club for for players who have played the women's game for years and years and haven't really got the remunerations of playing. Like you play against 10, 12,000 every week. Yeah. Why don't you come and play against 30, 40,000?
100%. It's a different environment, and obviously Arsenal will have a draw. I'm just saying it'll be a lesser draw if you are not top three. And right now, you don't look like a top three club. You have the players to be top three. You have a manager who gets into spells of form. But unless she can work out that midfield, and look, it seems relatively simple from sitting from here, but the reality is that sometimes your naivety gets in the way. And I think that not playing a six, not having an out-and-out six in your lineup properly catches you out, because I mean we have three. We have 3 sixes sitting there who can do the job, and you're sitting there with none. And as soon as your midfield gets pocketed, it gets swallowed because it's 3 versus 2. When you're playing 3 in the midfield, like most teams in Europe do, you'll get swallowed up, and that's what happened against Bayern. That's what happened against Lyon. It was. And sadly, somewhat happened in Spurs. They didn't swallow you up. They just withstood their ground.
If we talk just quickly about Spurs, this is a team that had like a real burst of energy at the start of the season, and how like a very, very quick lit flame has completely burnt out, in my opinion. I don't see it. I don't see any sort of
They're not as good.
4.
Yeah, they're not as good as United. They don't look as convincing when they're on their top form, and as Villa, as Brighton on their top form. I'm not saying that they're better. They're not worse than them, but all round, if you go player for player, I think you'd be looking at Martin Ho being better than a lot of the other managers. I think he's clearly quite talented. But if you're going player for player against Brighton or player for player against United or Villa, I think there won't be as many Spurs players.
Well, Martin Ho can apologise all he likes. It's the players on the field that are doing his work, and they're not showing up.
But I actually want to shout out your most hated player, because I actually think she didn't have that bad of a game. I think Jess Naz was horrible.
She was terrible.
I think she wasn't terrible.
She was shocking.
She's one good pass away from being a solid right back.
No, she's about one good pass, 3 strides, a touch.
What do you mean 3 strides? She had McCabe on strings, mate.
Oh my God.
McCabe was average. McCabe again.
McCabe had 45 minutes.
Yeah, and she was average for all 45. But I think the reality is that you have a team that needs to work a little bit more in gelling their system so that they can impact the game more. Because with the North London derby specifically, I think they need to turn up. You need to turn up. You need to put pressure on them, especially at home. That was the chance to put them away. You were in a low form and you still looked better than them. You still looked like the winning team in a draw. That's hard for you. Hard to say.
I just don't like watching our team every week and identifying the same players making the same mistakes, technically,
and managers
systemically,
making the same substitutions every week as well. But yeah, that is the WSL as we vamos to Spain. We are going to have a lot of fun here because the El Clasico was on, a big moment, a big El Clasico with big context because of the last El Clasico being won by Caroline Weir and Real Madrid.
And the referees.
And Ishke, but I mean, Caroline Weir was God mode in that game. I mean, but again, no real jeopardy to the title race at that time. This game had the capacity to make waves in the title race if Madrid were to chance. But, I mean, again, it was kind of similar to... I mean, it's weird to compare the two games, but it's kind of similar to the Villa game where Real Madrid had the first big chance of the game because Caicedo did what Caicedo does, breaks through the lines of Irina and Ona, right? Ona was on the right for this game. They went full strength for this game, and she broke through them, played it across to Fella. Fella had to score. Yeah, I agree. And the track back from Mappi Leon. I mean, Mappi Leon, firstly, straight away, player of the match.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Better than Pio?
We'll get to Pio. Pio, the front half, mental. We'll get to my superlatives on Ewa Pio, which I could go for an hour. But Mappi Leon, the ability to play from the back, to defend like that, then go forward, invert into spaces, into the wide spaces, megging defenders, whipping balls across. Is there anything that the centre half can't do? I mean, be respectful to human beings, yes, but the ability on the field, honestly, there's. I mean, you always go Paredes. I always go Paredes over Mappi, but there's just games where you watch Mappi where the dominance level that Mappi gets to is like Paredes doesn't get there. It's just consistency.
I've always been Mappi over Paredes, and I think maybe because I've seen the growth that Mappi's had. I've watched her from the inceptions of her time at even Atleti, and then growing into this Barca team. I've always found it to be just such an important cog in the system that if you take her out, similar to like a Patri and an Aitana and an Alexia, you lose a bit of spark, you lose a bit of ingenuity, a bit of instinctiveness.
Safety.
And then, of course, with defense, you're losing safety. And this is a player and a team that you're not always looking at defense, right? Like because they're so dominant offensively, you're not going, oh, now let's look at the defending qualities of this team. But everyone, and you can ask anyone watching Liga FA, watching Barca, the first player on the name sheet, on the team sheet, when talking about defending, is Mappi Leon.
100%, no question about it. And she was just brilliant all game. But the start of this game was all Pio. Yeah. This is what Ewa Pio does. She's back. That whole structure in her knee is fine, and she ran the show. So Pina played the ball across the box. Caro plays the ball across the box. Doesn't matter what side. Doesn't matter who's in the goal. Doesn't matter if there's 3 in the goal.
Yeah.
She will score with her head, with her feet.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Any part of her body that's legal, she will score, and she is the scariest striker. And that includes Bunny. That includes Alessia. That includes Barbara Banda. I don't care how big you are, how strong you are. The speed at which she plays, the inevitability, and the lack of misstep, the intuition she has is genuinely Haaland level. Like, we're talking the best of the best strikers you'll ever see. Just the things she can do inside the box, outside the box, her ability to dribble on the ball. She doesn't need to dribble. She's just the innate poacher. But Lewandowski is just a different breed of footballer that, I mean, again, it's sad when you watch her at the Euros and she doesn't get the support. Yeah. She has to create it herself, and her ability to create is good. Yeah. But it's just, she is one of those players where when Barca miss her, they are a completely different side. And that Sociedad game showed because they had no Kika, no Pio, and she comes back in, gets 2 goals in 30 minutes, sets the tone easy. They get one chance back in Real Madrid because Cole gives away the penalty, and then she saves Caroline Weir's penalty, which was crazy. And then the only shortcoming to an otherwise perfect El Clasico for Barcelona is Esme going down, not looking great. That did not look like a good landing, not a good injury. I didn't actually see. I don't know if we know what she has.
I don't know what she has, but I believe she's out for the Dutch team.
Yeah, so she's like, I think she'll be out for a few weeks or months.
And this is what happens. I mean, like, you can.
It's a miserly game. It's a derby.
It's not just that, but I find that with Barca's style of football, you might think, oh, it's so beautiful and so technically.
You're in close proximity, though.
But also it does put a lot of effort on your body to be able to get to the ball, to be able to make the crunching tackle, to get the possession back, because it's a possession style football.
100%. And even like we talk about, pressing is so much harder than having possession. Having possession still requires you twisting, turning, taking close proximity moments, and you can get injured at any time. But they do have cover, and Aisha Kamara did come on and did her job. And I mean, this was the crazy part, which later on in the this end
was
of the game,
inevitable part.
Yeah, this was nuts. So Yairo Huerta Garcia, Real Madrid's fitness coach, was dismissed in the 82nd minute because, according to the referee's match report, they addressed a member of the opposing team's coaching staff with the words, "You are an imbecile." It's so Spanish.
Very Spanish.
Imbecilio. But Victor Zamora, the Barcelona fitness coach, was expelled in the 78th minute for, quote unquote, repeatedly and demonstratively protesting one of my decisions while performing warm-up exercises with his players. I just imagine that perfectly, just watching.
Put the hurdles down.
Hey. Exactly. No, but it's also like, it's like that Mourinho moment. It's like, the coach, the referee was brilliant. He was watching the game while watching me as well. He must have 4 eyes in his brain. Like, it was brilliant. It was fantastic. But good to know there's still fire in the Clasico.
Well, I like the fact that I hate the fact that Real Madrid has won Clasico. But to make it more competitive, it does breed that level of competition between the two, because it's innate. They hate each other.
It has to be, like, for an El Clasico to be an El Clasico, there has to be a weight, right? When it's 17-0, it's not a derby anymore. Yeah. And that's the issue. That's why if you look at the record of the Woso Super Clasico, if you look at the record of the Old Firm, like, the Manchester derby, it's actually quite even. Even the London derby, Chelsea Arsenal, has better stakes in it and feeling, because there's no inevitability to it. Whereas this game, you could tell the players were very angry that they lost the last one. And Kika came on, did her job after coming back from injury, and then Schertenlieb gets her goal in an El Clasico in the 93rd, and then MARQUEE again. That was that ball across the box to a super substitute, a
player who I don't necessarily see as a super sub. You know, she's always a player that she's my first on the starting
starting lineup for Earth. She's number one.
But I think, resting her, giving her a bit of breathing time, and then her coming on and just completely, I think she, even in the last minutes of the game, changing the dynamic again.
I like, how is she at the back post with no one on her?
I know.
Like imagine playing, you're 2-0 down in an El Clasico, and you just see the sub and Itana Bonmati on for Alexia, and it's just like, one goat's come off and the other goat comes on, and there's no stopping that. And this kind of, to me, cements the title, basically, a little bit. This kind of ends the title race early, because I don't see them dropping, especially after the Sociedad game. That was the wake-up call, the 8-0 down. They're going to start pumping teams, and they're going to start pumping Chelsea next week, and I'm so excited.
I know, it's going to be so great.
At the Bridge, Chelsea off form.
Well, Barca love the Bridge.
Yeah, Barca do. I for one, think that they like the Bridge, but, I mean, it's a Pina. Pina's got her name written all over the Bridge, I think. But it'll be exciting to see if Sonia, against her old foes, can replicate any few past results she had against Barcelona. We have to talk about Madrid Atleti as well, winning their game 2-0 against Badalona. I mean, we can talk about the early goal, which was where they got the penalty and Boarisa sends the keeper the wrong way, but the goal. Are we going to talk about the goal? Lydia Rodriguez.
Is it crazy to say this is Gerrard-esque?
I was thinking Marmouche.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I was also thinking, like, if you gave Spitzer that much time on the edge of the box. Like, no offense to Levante, and taking nothing away from the strike. She did have 4 touches of the ball before she took it, but it was still a 30-yard ping, curving away from the keeper, top of the net. Beautiful strike. 2-0 win, comfortable. But again, this is what they do. This is what they do.
But there's these individual moments of brilliance that have gotten them this far in the league. Again, we've talked about this. I don't think it'll do well in the Champions League, but if for our entertainment, this is great.
And Levante weren't bad. Like, they had some good chances on the counter, definitely some moments. But again, deep, when you're in those deep areas, like 17, 16 yards, unless you're a top class striker, getting those chances, especially just lifting the ball off the ground while it's on the run, the amount of times they get skied, but they weren't skying it, they were just rolling it along the ground. And ultimately, like, it gets you on target, but Lola Gallardo is going to mop that up. And that's the thing. She was probably player of the match. Early on in the game, she made some crucial saves to keep it 0-0, but it was just a clean sheet, 6 saves, playing out from the back as well. Like, definitely someone to look at as a keeper who's having a stellar season. Well, because they've had a few clean sheets this year.
Yeah, well, Gallardo's always been, for me, one of the best keepers in Spain. And I mean, to know what happened to her in 2022-23 and the fact that she won't ever be able to put a Spain kit on again because she's kept her morals and she recognizes the weight of her abstinence, basically, right? I just love that she's kind of settled into this athletic team. They trust her. And I think
she's loved. Yeah. She's universally loved.
And I think, this is actually where it comes to differ with Real Madrid, because I think Misa's having a really shocking introduction to the season, becoming second to Frooms.
It's hard to come in.
Yeah, but she kind of like what happened with Manchester United. You have to come in and you have to showcase your strength and why you're second. And you're second, but you're first right now. So
yeah, and but this is the thing. You have to push and you have to get those wins. And I mean, I'm excited for the next Madrid derby.
Yeah,
because I
agree.
think that shows the levels properly, and we'll see more of the Liga F as we go around, because I mean, there's always some big moments. I know Sociedad as well got a last-minute penalty and converted that. I think it was Egazer converted that penalty, but Imade coming off, not particularly her best game. But ultimately, that is all we have for the Liga F. As we don't really vamos away to the BUNDS or Liga A because there were no games this year.
How many times do Ligue 1 have a break?
This is the third time this year.
They started the season, had a break,
they're at the same period as the Serie A. The Serie A has been on for like 2 weeks, and we have the same amount of matches played.
What's going on?
But we can talk about a few previews that are coming up, because I mean, Lyon is playing Strasbourg, probably after a UCL.
Yeah, why did you pick that one out first?
I mean, no. I picked that one out first because they have a game before that.
Sure, okay.
So we're looking at Lyon playing Juve in Juve.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A really two different styles of football. I think, obviously, I do think Lyon will have too much for them.
But Juve at home will present a case, especially with the form that they're going into. We'll talk about the Serie A very soon. And then Saint Etienne's playing PSG in the league, which should be
I don't know about that.
PSG going up against Bayern Munich
they're
in the middle of the week.
They are so
at
cooked.
the Parc des Princes. There's going to be I reckon there's going to be, because they'll travel. The Bayern fans will travel.
How many you reckon?
I reckon at the Parc des Princes, I'm going to say at least 25.
I was going to say 27 and a half.
Yeah, 20. I was going to say at least 25k, but I reckon it'll be a 10k Bayern.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd go.
Yeah, I mean, if we were not $3,000 away, I'd go to see Clara Ball. If we were living in England, we'd go to everyone.
I would. Genuinely.
We would be at every game and we'd record every game. But that's stay tuned for next season. But yeah, I think they should be routine wins in the league.
Yeah.
But PSG and Saint Etienne aren't bad. They have some good defense. But I think PSG should run them over. It's just a question of how they rotate and who gets their goals. I expect their youngsters to get minutes in this game, especially, I forgot her name, the 18-year-old who's got that dead ball free kick in her. I'll have to look it up later, but I think she's got a goal in her for this game. And Lyon will have to rotate. So I'm expecting a Svava absolute masterclass in the league. So that's why I put that one
I reckon Ada hat-trick.
Ada hat-trick.
Ada hat-trick. She's due one.
What about in the...
Against
she'll play midweek?
No, against Juve, she'll come on and she'll get a goal. And then
what about Kang Toto?
Kang Toto gets a double.
A double in this game or in both?
No, in the Juve game.
In the Juve game.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think Toto starts against Juve?
Okay, different styles, whatever. I genuinely think 5-0. 6-0.
5-0.
Yeah.
Wow, jeez. Okay. I think it'll be 5-0 against Strasbourg, and I think PSG will.
Can they make it double digits across 2 games? I think they can.
No,
I think they can.
Not against Juve.
Okay, we'll wager on it. We'll wager on it.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good.
Yeah.
What, over under 10?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. And then the actual big game to preview, which is Hoffenheim Bayern.
Did you see the DFB poker? Did you see the results?
Oh, yes.
Because so Hoffenheim's out after a 4-6 loss against Frankfurt, which was insane. A great game. But I think it really kind of shows now, I think the levels are starting to dissipate a bit. I think we're starting to see who's title challenging, who's not. Even if it's in the cup, rotated squad, sure. I think Hoffenheim now are struggling with depth a bit, and I think that will come to fore against Bayern.
Yeah, and it might be at home, but Bayern will absolutely overwhelm them. But again, it depends on how strong they go for PSG. I think they won't have to.
I don't think they have to go that strong,
no,
honestly.
No, exactly. The question is, do they rotate? Do they save?
Well, who they have to
Hoffenheim
rotate, that's the thing
what they need. But again, they are far ahead in the league, and they do want to keep their form in the Champions League, especially again that one loss. It seems like ages ago, that 7-1,
but it does haunt you,
because it does in the sense of they're still going to qualify and they'll still be fine.
But I think
but their form is showing, and also just like the realization that their players are top form. Like, it doesn't really matter that 7-1 happened. They can sit on it. They've had it. It's done. Now they're coming up against weaker opposition. They've clearly learnt a lot from that 7-1, because since then, it looks like there's no one stopping them.
No, but I disagree.
Really?
Because I actually think Bayern in the first half against Arsenal struggled. And I honestly think that it comes to a point where you have to realise Bayern are dominating domestically, but the mentality that they have, especially at the start of games in the Champions League, leaves much to be desired. And
It's
I think
slow. It's slow.
it's not just slow. Technically, I think there's concerns there. I think that they'll cruise past PSG. That's no problem.
But you don't think they'll give PSG an opportunity early? Like,
No,
the game starts 0-0, remember?
Yeah.
And they're in Italy, and you'll see a level from from Juve. Oh no.
That's PSG.
From PSG, that they're able to get their chances far. They're not necessarily the biggest names on the team sheet, but they are able to create chances fast, which is
But
what
the
Bayern don't
system
like.
is so. If PSG rock out with another 3-5-2 against Bayern, they're going to get absolutely demolished on the flanks.
Yeah, maybe.
Karabu will kill
have fun. Yeah,
will kill them.
But that's my point. is that
Ajibade
their
is going to
numbers-
die.
But that's the belief that they've built from the 7-1, is that they think that even if they cop a few goals early, which they did against your lot, they now believe it will never go back to that level again, because they'll never suffer at the hands of an attack of that level until they come up against them again, or present a different case, and again a different level of form, which they're showing now. But yeah, they're kind of the big previews for those two leagues. The Serie A, which is heating up once more, because every week there's a new twist in the tail.
Yeah, but this week particularly,
Yeah.
allora, there were 3 1-1s of the 3 big games.
Yeah.
Like 3 1-0s, I should say.
1-0s,
Sorry,
yeah.
like 1-0s of the
Limbs,
3.
1-0 limbs.
Oh my god, I couldn't believe it. I was watching and I was like, this is the most Italio ball, like calcio football I've ever seen in my life. Like the last 3-4 weeks have been like goals galore.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, have these players in the off seasons just like injected themselves with Spanish blood? Like, what's going on here? And then I think that's waned off because they've started, I don't know, going completely 90s Italy ball, because it's just complete defending till I die.
Woso's 20 years behind the men. This is we haven't even had Woso Calciopoli yet. This is it. But Como Milan, we have to talk about it. Como are now second on the ladder after this game.
This is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, this was just I've called this game the game of penalties.
Yeah.
And this is what Woso gets criticized a lot about.
Yeah.
This is exactly right. So Como listened to the pod because I said how good Evelyn Iche was, and they doubled up on her pretty much through the middle of the game. And they technically outclassed Milan. They had more chances. They played faster. It was more direct. And then they gave away a penalty. They were working so fast that they gave away a penalty right at the edge of the box.
Yeah.
It's such a
stupid,
woke penalty.
Woke penalty.
I don't know. There's no other way to describe it.
If you're going to do a penalty, just take them out. That's what I think.
Yeah, exactly. It was so soft.
Yeah.
It was so sad. But Evelyn EJ, I love you.
Oh my
I
God.
still think you're the Woso
Yes,
Alexander
man.
Isak. But we have to talk about this, right? Your run-up to a penalty needs to change. I'm sorry. I don't care who's paying you. Yeah? You cannot be a right foot. I thought you were left-footed. The way you were running up to the ball. You are setting up for a left foot, and you ran around and opened up your foot to the right side and then put it in Roseanne.
But who's done that recently that we've seen?
What? Who's done the what? Running from right to left?
Yeah.
Who?
France.
France?
Euros.
Marjorie? Penalty?
Yeah, I think it was Marjorie.
Marjorie. Did she retire?
Yeah.
I didn't know Marjorie retired.
Yeah.
All right, we found it.
Yeah.
Marjorie's penalty. But the difference is, Marjorie's penalty, she runs up and then goes like that.
I'm just saying,
But the difference is, Evelyn EJ starts from the right, starts from the right of the ball, runs up to it from the right, but then it doesn't go around and back. She just goes to it and then opens up her foot.
But
That's wrong. It's
obviously wrong. It's obviously wrong. But have you not seen people take set pieces like that? Have you not seen the
set pieces?
complete
This is a 12-yard straight. You're telling me that if you're running up on goal,
I'm not trying to back her up here. It was a crap penalty.
No, 1v1. She's running on goal. She's going to run from the left side and open up her foot to the right. It's not a one-on-one. Just shoot the ball like a normal human being. 3-step futsal pen. Like, not hard, but. Yeah, Ramos into the sky. Ball is still flying. I don't know when it's going to land, but I love her, but she is mustard, but not Jesus. That was terrible pen. And then Nishla gets up for Como and gets her penalty, another soft penalty, and that penalty goes wrong side of the bar and hits it and bounces out.
That's worse.
That one's worse?
I think it's worse to hit it completely off target than over the bar.
Really?
Yeah.
You think it's worse to hit the bar than go over it?
How do you... There is... Okay, yeah.
Schweinsteiger's penalty UCL versus Ramos's.
Yeah, there is...
Which one's worse?
Schweinsteiger's.
That's wrong.
No, it's not. Because there is a goal, right? The only thing you have to do is hit on target, right?
Yeah.
And you miss the target.
Yeah,
How do you miss the target?
But they missed the target as well.
But if they had just hit it lower, then they would have gotten it in.
And you're telling me the one that hits the bar hits it in as well. What do you mean?
I'm just saying
raining for both teams. Oh my God. But again, she got a chance to redeem herself because youngster Veronica Bernardi, brilliant player, runs away, counters attack, and then Kaiser, that's her name, brings her down. The Milan Dutch left back brings her down. Red card and a penalty. Jens Lehmann so angry because double jeopardy, but sends the keeper the wrong way this time. Great penalty. Wins it for Como 1-0. Shout out to Matilda Pavan, by the way, for Como.
Yeah.
Baller in the midfield. Creates chances, defends, box to box. Very young, very much got a very high ceiling that she can reach.
And Como started quite slow, and to me, I thought this was your typical capitalist ball, investment ball. They'll take a while to kind of settle in, but now they're really taking the league by storm. And can I say what it's aligned with, by the way?
Where?
The benching of Alicia Lehmann.
Yeah, well, I mean
they've really picked up form. They've really picked up form when she's been on the bench.
But there's someone else on the bench there that's not getting minutes.
I know.
The Chids. Does she ever get minutes? Will she ever get minutes?
I just think, again, when she moved, I struggled to kind of understand why she would want an Italio ball, Calcio ball. I found it to be really the antithesis of what Chids likes to play. And I know that she's been playing deeper recently, especially for Victory. I don't agree with that. I don't think that she's that type of player. I don't think she's a 6. But look, they have...
Just drape the 10 off Politina. Just be like, she's back.
But you know what? To me, this is a player that I think when we look back on her career, it's going to be with disappointment. I'm disappointed once again.
I didn't want to say it. But
Don't say it, Ben.
I do think she is a player that... I love Chids, and I wanted her to play more at the World Cup. I thought her form going into the World Cup was fantastic. I just think... we do love her a lot to an extent where we kind of, I think we just overrate her. We just do.
Is she too luxury?
Is she that good? Is she as good as we think she is? Yes, she needs a runner form and she needs minutes and that doesn't change. But the reality is that if she was good enough to get those minutes, she'd be doing it in the training ground.
Yeah, I think so. I agree.
All the time. And I don't mean that in a way where it's like, oh, I expect her to be playing for Como, who are second in the Serie A. But again, being a part of training sessions who are second in the league, that's an important cog. You have to... Every team has a player who doesn't play who sets the tone at training, right? That's how Cody Thomas and Lily Murphy and all these youngsters for my team, and then all the youngsters for all the Swedish youngsters that you steal, set the tone at training. But the reality is that we want to see more of Chids, but also I think we expect too much of Chids.
I think maybe she's even too luxury for the most luxurious place in the world, which is Como. I think she's.
It is a beautiful stadium, to be fair.
But I think that she's jeopardized one of the things that was most incredible about her, which is her first 2 paces on the ball. So when she gets the ball, speed running off it.
Acceleration, 2-step football.
And now that she's playing deeper down, you've kind of lost that.
Well, even if she's playing, it's when she's playing, it's not enough minutes, and when she's not playing, that's just how it is, right? But we have to move on to the league leaders, Roma.
Can I just say some of the things that came out of this game? Dragoni, who is obviously Barca's loanee out there, her dad started yelling at Roma's coach for benching her in this incredible, I guess, like showing of just how basically child nepotism works, right? Like you don't have to actually have a crazy parent. Like you don't have to have a crazy important parent.
But what would football be
without
those
crazy parents? Yeah,
just play your best player.
Yeah,
play the Barcelona star incoming, but. I mean, this game, it started off as low-key a crossbar challenge between Greggy and Giuliano because they hit it both from about 25 yards. Greggy on one side, Giuliano on the other, and then Bergamaschi mops up, gets a goal, but she was offside, which sucks. And then in the 29th minute, you have Greggy, plays it to Veens, edge of the box, for Uwcl, the left back, who volleys it home really nicely into that corner. And that was, pretty much all she wrote in terms of their big chances. 24 shots, 5 on target, Roma doing their thing. Okay. It's always a league form is not really the question about Roma. Obviously, they did lose last week, but their Champions League game coming up, I don't know what to really say about them coming up against OH Leuven.
I think they need to win.
They have to win, but they're already out, aren't
but
they?
In my opinion, I think, this is a 6-pointer if you like. I don't necessarily know the mechanics.
This is two, if we're talking about the lower end of the UCL right now, we're looking at OH Leuven versus Roma and Vålerenga versus St. Polten. These are 2 games that matter a lot to these 2 teams. But I think
Leuven can get a result. Exactly. And I'm being honest. I think, look, last season there was a really interesting tie between Galatasaray and Roma. And I thought naturally on the team sheet, you're looking at players and you're looking at teams that, like, Roma should just win this. But they struggled. And I think this is another game where they're going to struggle.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things where they just don't keep clean sheets.
Yeah.
Especially in the Champions League. I struggle to ever believe that they're going to hold on.
Which is so anti-cultural.
Yeah,
just
be Italian. You just don't get that time. And that's the thing. When you're coming up against Leuven in Belgium, they're going to have a lot of energy and belief in themselves, especially after the Barcelona game, holding them to whatever. What was it, 3-0? That's a pretty solid result for Leuven to say that they can go into this and saying we're playing not even half of the level of the opposition, and we'll think we can get a result and we can be a bit more pragmatic about the way we play. It's a learning phase for Leuven, and whatever experience they get is good for them. And we were talking about them struggling a little bit. A team that is struggling in the league is Inter, currently in 9th. 1 win, 3 draws, and another loss now. This making it 2 losses, losing to Napoli 1-0.
A secret contender for a title challenger, Napoli.
Really? You think so? I think they're too far.
No, they're in the top 4.
They're top. I think they're top. Yeah, they're top 5. But I just don't think they have the players.
I don't think they have the players, but I think that they can easily shape the title.
Oh, that I agree with, 100%. I just think... I don't know what's wrong with Inter. They have so many good players.
It's system. It's so obviously system. The players in their team are so misaligned to the system. There are players in there that want to play possession.
Just like if she doesn't score, they're screwed.
And this is the problem. I've always had this with Tessa Volhert because everyone rates her, and good for them. They rate her.
The chances she makes for herself.
I agree.
Are excellent.
But she is a hot and cold player, and she also relies heavily on the team around her. And if they're not facilitating to her, then she struggles. And sure, you can blame the fact that the facilitation is poor, but it's also about making your own chances. Her, Ivana, McGill.
McGill was fantastic. Yeah. Oh my God, the amount of chances she created 4 people in this game. And then, look, it's just so annoying because there were so many good moments for Inter and they just can't score unless it's Valhert, and Valhert hit the post twice in this game. It was just
such a Steiner.
It's seriously like Belgian Steiner, right? But like it's Tessa or bust, and then the solo goal from Cecilia Fleur. Oh my god, the way to run, the half turn. Yeah. I genuinely think there's nothing more satisfying in football than a player absolutely like destroying someone's like train of run. Like you never see a half turn against the top sides. When they do it, it's always red. That you never get the player like getting destroyed. But in this game, because it's Inter Napoli, the half turns make it look so good because the other player just keeps running, and it's just so beautiful. Like the turn was magical. Finished the goal through the keeper's legs. It was fantastic, and it was a great win for Napoli, who, as you said before, are maybe not going to make it, but will definitely shape it. And shape it for teams like Juve, who are back on track.
Yeah.
We were talking about Calcio ball as well, like the passion and the lack of scores. Did you see Genoa's formation in this game?
Yes, I did. What in the world?
Playing 3-3-3. It's like a box of 9, and then the goalie, and then 2 up front.
But again, this
one
is
up front, 3-3-3-1.
any way to remember. Italians love to tell you that they may not have the best league, but they're apparently the most tactically gifted managers and systems in the whole world. No, this is stupid.
The box of 9 was absolutely beautiful, but not when Vansgaard heads it through your whole line. Lindsay Thomas had a great game, very aggressive. And Girelli, my decoy of last week, back on business. By the way, Caligaris, the Swiss international, who had a very good Euros, but she's been very good for Juve, albeit struggling to keep clean sheets, but did well today. A lot of clearances. What did she have? 11 recoveries, 4 out of 5 duels won. That's the level I expected
was it Magnon who's their typical number 1 for Juve?
The goalie.
Yeah. Yes. And look, I think if we're looking at kind of recognizing that there's going to be a new generation of goalkeepers coming through, I think we're kind of overlooking teams like Switzerland and kind of what happened in the Euros, where we saw actually a drastic improvement in keeping.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Zinzi will be in goal, but Caligaris from centre half will lead. She'll be the general of that back line, and she's just a magnificent like in that level. She's controlling really well, and then set up. I'm not going to really say set up. She tried to head it down, and then she tried to do I don't know if it was a bike or like a volley, and she missed it. And then Girelli was like, "Girl, get out of the way. Let me shoot." And she just whacks that left foot ball into the bottom right corner. That was such a Girelli goal. I love when Girelli strikes the ball. There's not many better. But again, second half was more of the same, but nothing going in. Juve just baking up early crosses, and they couldn't handle, like Genoa's 9 was so squeezed. They were so narrow all game, and it could have easily been 3 or 4-0. But I wonder what I think Juve have to do it. They do have to do it again.
Well, I was going to shout out Liavelti as a player who I think is going to be the hegemon of this team if they are going to win. Yeah,
she was very good, and she's again that's that Swiss link up in the middle. That's what you want. Caligaris into Pina across, and then you have players like Thomas who are going to play that role across the season. I wonder how their depth will hold up. But again, if Girelli goes down or something, misses a few games, who gets on the team sheet? Who settles it? Because when it was 1-0, the questions get asked, and you think, oh, is this the Juve of yonder? But that's all we have for Italy. The dub, where, I mean, we're going to talk about your team because my team didn't play. My team just didn't play, and I didn't really I understand why.
Because Western United are not in the league anymore. There's a bye for each team.
Yeah.
So you guys played in the AFC and absolutely balled out against this team, and you had some absolute ballers of players. It's insane. Holly Mack got 30 minutes, but you should, if anyone wants to go and watch the City highlights in the AFC Cup, it was insane. A lot of people talking about that.
Did you see the Buttress talk?
Yeah,
the rainbow flick.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
It's cold. Yeah, it's a good flick. Yeah. But no, we're gonna talk about your team. Your team had another stellar performance. Exciting or no?
You know me, Ben.
It doesn't matter how much you win by. It's not the same.
Well, it was 1-0 against Central Coast.
Yeah.
And and Policino was our 100th game. I really find it funny when a player has played a majority of their games for another team and then plays a significant milestone for your team, because you're looking back on
99
highlights.
and 1.
Yeah, you're looking back on highlights like, oh yeah, she played like 70 games for Melbourne City. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and all her highlights are against victory.
But look, Polisina is a player that she can pretty much shoulder a midfield on her back. I don't think she can shoulder a whole team on her back, but she can shoulder that final third, and I think she did. I was surprised that Joe Montemuro came to this game. Look, I don't know who's bribing him in the FA to come to these games, but can you please like spend that money somewhere else? Because he has now watched, I believe, 2 A-Dub games at least of just such poor quality.
He's scouting.
Yeah, and you know what that scouting has led him to? 4 players in the dub being chosen. 2 geriatrics, right?
So you're talking about Tamika and Michelle.
Yeah, 1 keeper.
Yeah.
By the way, the wrong keeper.
Yeah, Chloe Lincoln.
The wrong keeper, by the way.
Who is the right keeper?
Newborn, easily.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
rate her. Look, she might be my favourite victory player.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then Holly Mack, of course. And you're always going to get Holly Mack. But look, I don't recognise this Melbourne victory team for all we're doing well.
We're still winning.
We're still winning. I don't recognise it.
Finish from Polly.
Yeah, it was fine finished, but I don't think. I think that if I don't recognise victory,
if she wins the league, I'm just gonna say City won the league. Like she's just elite.
I think if I don't recognise victory, though, I just completely don't recognise Central Coast Mariners. And basically, this is just karma, right? Yeah. You get into the final via just complete malpractice by the referees, right? Yeah. And you're cheating your way through, and then this is what happens. They've lost players, very good players, and now this is what happens.
It's a bit of a hangover. It's a bit of a reality check, and that's definitely what happens. But I think your team looks pretty solid. My team looks solid. And then a team that we thought was solid was not. This was a team that we thought was liquid.
This was such a good game because so if Melbourne Victory were to go on hiatus for a season, I can comfortably say that Brisbane is the team I would support because, and it's not because I like Brisbane, I dislike Brisbane.
The ball they play.
It's because of the ball they play and the players that they play, but the players in this game against Western Sydney Wanderers, who are inarguably the worst team. Fryer got locked up, but Fryer looked like she didn't want to play.
Yeah, well,
there were passages of play in that game where she just kind of kicked it to no one. Her shots were shocking. Her crosses were shocking.
She's thinking about VFL versus United.
Yeah, exactly. And even Youngstown was off it, but she got locked down by Western Sydney's pocket rocket of a back line. Yeah. And one player I really wanted to shout out was So Yoon, who is the South Korean international. Baller.
Really? Okay.
The league has been crying out for a baller like South Korean international, and they have had some in the past. Yeah. But this is a baller that, shocker, knows how to cut on the ball. Yeah. A Cruyff turn in the box.
50-50.
Oh my God.
Yeah, get the separation. I feel like the separation is to be had in the dub.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you can take on the players, make a jinky movement, like that's
you just completely rattled
enough to get your separation. Yeah. And that was definitely good. I also want to shout out for Brisbane, Amy Medwin. She was really good. Against I think she ended up with player of the match for them specifically against Western, but again, just her discipline, her coach, clearly she's moved from Western United to come into Brisbane, and her discipline's very good. She kind of just seamlessly flown in, and I mean they're top of the league, and she's
We're top of the league.
We're top of the league.
I may hate my team, but we're top of the league, so I'm rooting for them. Let's go.
But she's doing her job, and it's an interesting league to come. And I mean, when you get the bye and we'll come in, it'll be once all the buys are done, we can start looking at it quite evenly and see where we assess ourselves. But I think Amy will be a big part of Brisbane's season in that midfield, and I think she's definitely got a lot of talent to show. I wonder if she keeps playing at this level. We don't have a kind of archetype like that in the Matildas midfield. We don't have that ball playing tempo aggressor. We have the disruptor. We have the runner. We have the box to box. We don't have I don't know, that Kira Walsh
I knew you were going to say that.
We don't have that player.
Well, we just don't foster those type of players.
Yeah, exactly. And it's refreshing to see a player who can clear, recover, but then also metronome as well. And that's all we have for Down Under as we move to Leggy's NWSL Watch.
Now, this is validation for me and
Is it?
you. Yeah.
Is it really?
So one for me, because finally the world is waking up to Mackenzie Arnold.
Oh, well
And
yes.
her shocking
We both
keeping.
predicted 1-0, 2-0.
Yeah,
So we were fine. We were right.
This Washington versus Portland game, from kickoff, I kind of knew where this was going.
Everyone knew that.
Portland looked off. They looked tired.
Washington at home, man.
Washington at home are an insane unit, and I think the feeling is there.
Where is the final?
I don't know. Oh my god, good question. I don't know.
I'll have to look. And see.
No, but I wasn't surprised what happened when
Well, we
went
called
down.
it. We said that if Washington get into their game, Portland have to get them on the counter.
Yeah.
And they just didn't facilitate enough, anywhere near enough to get the ball to the players that win them their games. But also, again, Washington having way more depth on the bench. Players you can look for at the back end of the game to do it. But, I mean, it was just a show. They put on a show.
They also have finishes. I really rate Gift Monday. We have another example of kind of that archetypal NWSL player. And to me, that's what a team like Orlando is missing now without someone like Barbara Banda. Yeah. So when you introduce a player like Gift Monday into the squad, you're instinctively going to get goals. Like, that's what's going to happen. It just kind of depends on where those goals come from. And in this case, she got it because of Portland mistakes and poor defending and poor goalkeeping in Mackenzie Arnold's case by Portland. Yeah,
I think you can say McAwye, but also like... I feel like those goals were coming.
I say Macca-why, Macca-how, Macca-who.
Macca-who. But ultimately, I feel like the goals were coming. It didn't really matter who was in goal. You could have put Kingsbury in goal and it would still be 1-0 at least. They were all over them. And then you had Trinity Rodman with her cameo as well. And like, they're just such a unified group. And like, even though like post-match antics, like, the way in which they play is not like, obviously she's the kingpin, but it's so team coached and they're so well drilled. It's kind of them in postseason kind of reminds me of current a little bit in the way in which they play. They're such their ability to manage their speed and their progression on the ball. Like, it was 2-0, but if they wanted it to, they could have made it 3 or 4. But they knew by the 80th minute, let's rest. Let's take a few players off. We need to get ready for the final. We know we've won this. We can sit back a bit. Portland aren't pressing us the same way they were in the first half. We'll take the win comfortably.
I also think technically Portland were out of their depth, and I think we've seen that especially in the later stages of the season. They may have gotten the results, and they got the result last week as well. I just think technically right now there's too much emphasis centrally, and their flanks are really, really struggling. And you saw that with Liv Moultrie. You saw that with Sam Coffey. Jessie Fleming had a poor game.
Yeah, Fleming got packed in that midfield, but Moultrie just didn't get any space. But again, she's a young star. Yeah. Occasion gets to you. You're in Washington, in the dome, that giant like narrow stadium. Like, moment gets to you, and that's okay. That's a learning experience.
That will be better if Wilson now. If Wilson comes back, she will come back.
100%.
When she comes back, Wilson will do the business.
She'll get them to. They'll be back for another quarter semi-final. As we went to the game, I was looking way more forward to. But sadly, not. I mean, my prediction was right, but the reality was wrong. Yeah. So I thought Gotham would win, and I wanted Orlando to win because obviously the Martin story is better. But Jaden Shaw, big game player.
This free kick. Now, I don't think that this was coming in the same way that Washington's goals were coming. I think it was a very even game. I think both teams.
This is not like one above the other. This is chaos ball. Yeah. This game could have easily been 3-3 or 3-2.
I was concerned midway through this game that either team, even whoever gets out of this and plays Washington, will be too gassed in the final because they just put so much effort in. Yeah, they put so much effort into this game, but eventually it came through a Jaden Shaw free kick, which was so inch perfect, well done.
Staunch bins.
It wasn't bins. It was beautifully placed.
Yeah, but that's still bins. That's still
okay.
Bins.
So the bottom bins.
There's bottom bins.
Okay, bottom bins.
Obviously, it's staunch bottom bins. When the bin falls over, it's bottom bins.
Okay, sure, bottom bins. Fine. Yeah. Okay,
it's postage stamped. Bottom right.
I know that you love Marta. I love Marta as well.
Yeah.
But to me, the story has to be Rose Lavelle finally getting that NWSL NWSL. I need her.
We'll
I
find
need
out.
her to get it. It's actually important.
She had a good game, not as good as I thought she
was
would
a little
be.
bit. She was poorer than I
She's
thought.
a bit passengery, but again, you're copying Marta on that side, and you're having to do all the dirty work. She doesn't get further forward. Turner's goal. Yeah. I mean, can't ask for much more. But I mean, look, all eyes are on the $1 million lady, Jaden. Holy schlamoli, sure. But the question is, when you're in this run of form, can they do it? Can they actually do it?
I want them to do it so bad.
So the game's in California.
Yeah.
Yeah. PayPal Stadium, obviously. Love that. Yeah. Very Kang coded. But look, obviously Spirit are the favourites. Yeah. Can Gotham press them? Can Gotham create a moment?
Extra time, I think.
Extra time,
I think. And in my heart, I want Gotham, but in my head, it's Washington. But I would never say that aloud.
I want. This is. I'm picture this. Yeah. Esme Morgan's running with the ball. They press her. She makes a pass. Intercepted by Lavelle. Lavelle lifts, scoop lift, Alexia style.
This is very...
Ball over the top of Esme. Bodied by Shaw, right foot, cross the box, bottom left.
Do you know how accurate that could have...
1-0 Gotham.
Yeah, that is actually incredibly accurate.
That's all I've got. Can
I just quickly say as well, we've seen some pretty heinous things on the football pitch, especially in the NWSL. None more so than Esther's hair.
Esther Gonzalez.
The cornrows situation. Yeah. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So what's worse, Esther's hair, or them doing the haka before the World Cup? Mocking the haka with the Dutch players.
I think they're equally terrible.
Yeah,
it's
pretty hard to compare.
I didn't see the haka live. I had to see practically 90 minutes of
but someone
the
filmed that and recorded that and posted that. That's the part. The Esther kind of should have known that she was being filmed while she's playing games. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what, like, I hate the arguments about hairstyles in that way, because obviously
I just think it looks ugly.
It's ugly. Yeah, first and foremost, we can talk about the undertones, but like, it is ugly, and that's just is what it is. But NWSL watch done. Yeah. I mean, we covered everything from the game to Esther Gonzalez's hair and the cultural implications of her hairstyle, and our prediction was pretty simple.
Yeah.
I have 1-0 Gotham, and you had...
I'm gonna also say 1-0 Gotham.
1-0 Gotham, right? So we're both idealists, not pragmatists in any way. But we're going to move on to the UCL and just preview it again and make ourselves look stupid as we do every week, because we suck at predictions. But Chelsea Barca at the Bridge.
3-0.
3-0.
3-0 easy.
Who are the goals?
Goals, 2 for Payo, 1 for Pina.
Wow. Okay, it sounds about right.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea get one.
From where? Do you think Alyssa Thompson's going to dunk on Barcelona?
Not Alyssa Thompson. I think it'll be the left. Esme's injured.
Yeah.
The left side's exposed.
Yeah.
I think...
That is Alyssa Thompson.
No. The right side.
Their left side.
No.
Chelsea's right side.
No. Okay. Barca's left side. Chelsea's right side. Which is JRK. Yeah, so I think JRK will set something up for someone, whether it be a moment from Macario deeper, or ABJ in the middle, or Kerr late on, maybe as a consolation. But I'm going to go 2-1. I don't think they get that many goals. I think it's convincing. I think there'll be a lot of posts. I'm expecting Caro to turn up properly because they have no left back. Come on, Caro, I need some PR here. Yeah. You're my favourite player in this team. Come on, where's the 23-24 Caro? You're hitting the post too much. So
I think, honestly, if Chelsea are going to score, I actually don't think it'll come from their front three. I think it'll either come from Cuthbert or
so I'm going Lexi 1, Caro 1.
Okay,
and I
easy.
think Alexia sets up Caro as well. Nice. So Alexia, man of the match. Nothing is new. Water is not wet. Game is on. Your team playing Madrid at Meadow Park, not the Emirates, obviously, because it's midweek. Thoughts?
This is interesting because I understand why they want to play at Meadow Park for logistics, but also because it's a tighter pitch. So you're asking Madrid to be far more compact.
Yeah.
My thing is, though, we remontated at the Emirates. The Emirates is our stomping ground, right? And Madrid do not play at the Bernabeu, like, at all. So you're asking a team that always struggles on bigger pitches to play on a smaller pitch that will suit them.
Yep, they love it. They love it. They'll feel like they're back in Spain.
I am. Oh
Caroline Weir, with every bone in her body, is City till she dies.
This is Caroline Weir's audition because I know that she wants to come back.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
She told me.
She told you that she wants to play her prime football.
Yeah, Yep, exactly.
You need another 10. You need a 6. You need the other 2 players in their midfield in your team. No. But what do you think?
2-0 to us, definitely.
Oh, okay.
We're winning. Are you cooked? No.
I'm going 2-2. 2-2
Why
Madrid.
would you say that
2-2
in
Madrid.
front of me right now?
2-2 Madrid because I'm a realist. I think you will be 1-0 down. I think you'll be 1-0 down.
We're gonna remontada in the game.
No. It'll be 1. No, you'll go 1, then you'll get 2, and then they'll get 1 back. And it'll be Caroline Weir gets the second.
Absolutely not.
Caicedo will get the first because she's killing everyone right now, even Barca. And your lot. Oh, who's due a goal? Someone's due a goal.
Lucia Russo.
No.
Caitlin Ford.
No, she'll set up. You'll play Stina again. So Russo sets up Stina.
Yeah.
For 1 for the first one, and then 3 minutes later, Kelly goal. It'll be Kelly on, and it'll be goal, impact goal. But that's what I think. 2-2
Okay.
at Meadow Park, rocked again, undefeated at Meadow Park. Oh wait, Leon beat you earlier this year.
Come on.
VFL United, the battle of you're frauds, but you're good in the Champions League.
Yeah.
At the VW, as we spoke about.
This is an interesting game.
Yeah. I don't think it's an interesting game. I think Arroyo developed a blueprint.
Yeah.
AJ mastered it. And now Alex Pop is going to be Bunny Shaw. And she's gonna run the show.
No, I am.
Patel's still in goal. Remember that.
Yeah, but I think that United will want to clap back. I genuinely think that they're looking at the Champions League to be a bit more experimental, and I just love Rolfo against VFL. I love it. It's awesome. I think I'm gonna say 2-2.
2-2.
Yeah.
Why are you saying that in front of me? What are you doing Desmond's in front of me?
Yeah.
Nah, it's gonna be 4-1 VFL. Janu Levels assist.
4-1.
4-1. We're gonna.
I can only hope.
They haven't shipped goals all year. This is where the leaks start coming. We're gonna see how important that marine biologist with the fractured eye socket is, because that's where the leadership comes from the back. Juve Lyon, we spoke about this game already. What did you say? 4-1, 5-1?
Yeah, 5-0.
You said 5-0,
guys. 5-0.
Nah, I'm going 3-0. De Mornay hat trick.
Okay, nice.
De Mornay hat trick, full on De Mornay show. PSG Bayern. At the Parc des Princes.
Bayern 4-1.
4-1. Oh, so you are giving PSG a goal. Who gets the goal? Own goal.
No, I think it'll be like a consolation late foray transitional goal, one of their subs.
I think it'll be 3-1. Okay, very similar. Clara Bull 1. I think Schuller's due 2.
Clara Bull, hat-trick of assists.
Hat-trick of assists, wow. No, I think she'll get 1 and 1. And then I think from the right side, I think Gwyn gets
Gwyn?
assists.
Oh, nice. I think I can see a PK in this game.
Yeah, fair enough, definitely. The other games, I don't know, we can go through them quickly.
Twente will give a game to Atleti.
Twente are very hard to break down, and Atleti love an easy team. This will not be an easy game. I think Atleti will get a goal, but whether they get 2 is the question, because I think Twente will get a goal as well. So I'm saying 1-1.
Okay, cool. I will say for that game, I'm going to say 2-1 to Atleti.
Not a bad shout. Yeah. Definitely worth it. Paris FC, Benfica, 3-1 Paris. Mateo, 1 goal, 2 assists.
I actually, you've literally taken my brain and splurged it out of you. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. Benfica have had a turgid Champions League campaign.
Their back line is exposable, and Mateo will pounce on that. Yeah. Leuven-Roma, huge game. Battle of the bottom.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Roma. It's gonna be like a 2-1.
Yeah, I was thinking 2-1, but I could see Leuven scrapping it out a little bit. Maybe I'm gonna say 3-2.
Wow,
3-2.
So they're scoring multiple goals.
Leuven. I think they both are going to come in pragmatic.
Okay.
And I think it'll end up idealistic. I think you'll get individual brilliance. Giuliano will get an assist or 2, break the lines, create chances, but Leuven will make chances, and they are shoddy defensively in the Champions League. So I'm saying 3-2 to Roma. A great game expecting. and Valerenga St. Polten. It's basically the UCL derby.
You know what? Whoever watches this game, hit us up because you obviously know more ball than us.
Please tell us. Please tell us how good. I mean, we'll watch the highlights, but this game will be on at like peak times for other games. But I'm expecting. You know what? I expect Valerenga. Valerenga should win. They are a better team, and they got their win last week, so I expect them to hold on to that. I'm gonna go 3-1. I actually think they'll get more. Cool. But I mean, their shots from outside the box are quite good. Yeah. I think with a lesser opposition, I mean, as long as they can beat that goalie of St. Polten's, who's quite good, we'll see how that goes. But that concludes our UCL preview. Wait till next week when we stink up all of our predictions. But we're gonna move to the Benchwarmers Awards. Who do you have as your never bench again?
Well, it's obvious. It's Olivia Smith. Any Arsenal fan will say that right now, and it's not even reactionary. It's just realistic. It's come to a point now where we shake hands with Beth Mead and we go, thank you very much for your services, but you've taken us for 45 minutes on one of the worst North London derby performances I think I've seen ever, by the way. I think she was poor. I think she has been poor. And then to parallel that with Olivia Smith, which was arguably one of the best first North London derby performances, I was shocked. I want that all the time starting
that energy
from minute zero.
Sledges, 1 million down the drain. Liv Smith is benched again. It's so great. Every time I see her on the bench, I just have to message Allegra.
It's actually like I'm
It's
devastated.
such trauma. It's so funny. But my never bench again is Jade Harvard Rose.
Who are you putting her ahead?
So that's the question. I don't know. But you can't bench a player. You can't bench a player that is playing this well, that is creating this well. When Greenwood comes back, is it Kanak? I don't know.
You can't replace
Kanak. She is playing better than all of our centre halves this year. She's the form centre half this year. She has put 1 foot wrong, and it was 25 minutes into the season with Chelsea. That's it. She made one mistake. And the rest of the game, she was great. She's been great since. She sets up balls from the back. She's good with both feet. She bodies seasoned veterans at 20 years old. Her face has got forehead bruises and everything, smacking into her own teammates. Her teammates crying on the floor, and she's like, who's next? She is my Harvard goat. Yeah. And I don't care who the other player is, but right now, it's Jade Rose and whoever's next to her, because she is the form centre half. She's cogging that cover so that Kasparai can get forward. She's so fast and strong. We're gonna be looking at signing of the season if we keep going and she keeps playing. I think obviously we'll need to rotate, and Kanak and Greenwood is definitely a good setup. Pryor's a good setup for later in the season when we're looking at tournament FA Cup runs as well. I think it'll be exciting to see what Jade Rose's season looks like, because I think on form, she has to start. I
think it's whoever matches best with Greenwood. And
that's
I think
true.
That's similar with Arsenal when Leah Williamson comes back. It's basically because you have such hegemonic figures in the centre half position, it's basically who just matches up best with them.
You just think if Katie Reid kept playing the way she was playing...
she'd be with Leah...
Exactly, there's my point. Yeah. So that's my point, is that Katie Reid and Jade Rose have a very similar position in the league.
And you know what? And Greenwood and Catley are both ex-fullbacks, come centre-backs.
And they've moved across. Yeah. And there's almost, and again, we do this so much in so many different teams where there's this guarantor, this like meritocracy in a way where you were this good and you come back. Form is form. You can't argue with form. And the reality would be that if you guys had Katie Reid fully fit right now and she's still playing the way she was, dominating, and Leah Williamson came back, why would you disrupt that? And then you lose a game and Williamson's come back in, and then you just bring in all the hate on Williamson because you've fiddled with something that isn't broken. But ultimately, Arsenal Leah Williamson could score 3 own goals and Arsenal fans will be like, oh, she's doing what's best for the team. It doesn't matter. But the reality is Jade Rose versus Katie Reid will be an interesting comparison across the next few seasons, I reckon. Yeah. But right now, I don't think Jägerlitz can bench her. There's just no way. And I'm going to move on to a player we've talked about for my super sub of the week, which is Veronica Berardi, coming on in the Milan-Como game, winning the penalty for Como. That was the ball from Matilda, who played it to her and just ran the length of the pitch, took the tackle well. Have to give it to the player who wins the penalty to win the game.
My super sub we talked also about Linda Rodriguez.
Lydia
Rodriguez.
Yeah, the strike, the long bomb,
Yeah.
40 yards bomb. Yeah, I mean, can't question.
One of the best long strikes I've seen. One of the
to
cleanest.
come on the bench and think you're going to do
6
that.
minutes later, insane.
That's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, come on the pod, the one you're waiting for. Who have you got?
Now, this has been talked about a lot, so I just won't go over treaded ground. But Sky Sports Halo account.
I mean, we were sipping chai tea before this podcast.
Not me.
The girlies were.
Not me. Whoever's run this account has completely mischaracterized, obviously, the archetype of women's football watchers, who is also a woman, which is basically me, obviously.
They've mischaracterized us.
No, I find that this was obviously highly offensive, completely patronizing, leaning on just really terrible stereotypes as well.
Yeah.
And what I really appreciated was the fact that the women's football community came together and banded together.
And took the piss out of it.
Yeah, but not just took the piss out of it, but actually challenge it so far as now it's completely off. So
we
that's incredible.
If there's no solid idea behind it and there's nothing to save, they ruined it, and that's fine. But I like I think football, it's sometimes we get marred when we're talking about things in such a serious way. I actually think it's more effective sometimes when we take the piss out of it better. So when actual clubs were on their TikToks taking the trends that they were building out of it.
Kirsten Casper as well.
Yeah, and Caspi as well. That's what it should. That's how you take the piss out of it. And I think that's how you shed the darkness on an issue that is already dark, where we have archetyped women's sport as a whole, not even just women's soccer, but women's sport to be girly girls, or just
trying to
extract that and make it and masculinify, if you take that word with a grain of salt. But the reality is that the safety of the sport comes with the media outlet, and ultimately the fact that it disappeared shows our power as people to recognize that we know what we want to see. And what you want to see is us, because we're better and we don't sip chai teas and put pink highlights over all our edits. We just edit the way we edit anything else. If we made it if we were making videos about Doctor Who, it'd look the exact same. It wouldn't change at all. But my come on the pod, I could have easily done the FA again.
Oh my god, again!
I will never get a job with the FA. The administration degree's gone. I will never get a job with them because they just put on their games at the exact same times. But I'm actually going to shift the blame this week to Stan Sport. Yeah.
Oh,
Stan Sport.
Again?
Stan Sport. Yeah. Not the FA. Stan Sport. For the Premier League, for the men's, you have Goal Rush. Yeah. So I don't really care that I'm watching one game. If something happens in another game, it comes up on my screen. Are we saying that women aren't able to change channels for 5 seconds? I need some male commentator doing the Chelsea-Liverpool game who was so dry and drony telling me that Kumagai scored 2 headers and that LCL are up. I don't need that. I need to see the goals. I need to be miserable watching Kumagai score.
No, but Ben, women can multitask.
Women can multitask, so we can own multiple TVs. Is that what you're telling me to do right now? I need 4 devices and Stan Sport Premium to watch all 4 games. It's such a simple fix. Just have Goal Rush. It's not a hard thing to do. It's not expensive. It's very much the same broadcasting style that they already do. It's just they refuse to do it, and it means that we have to wait for highlights as well. It's jarring, it's embarrassing, and it's these things that are more annoying. Obviously the Sky Sports Halo is dumb. It's stupid. We took the piss out of it. It's funny. It's the little stuff. Just it's not even sinking to the level. It's approaching the game like it's professionalized. This is what we want to see. We want to see all 4 games at once. If we're doing a UCL Goal Rush, imagine if we're watching on Disney Plus, imagine we could see what's happening in the other game that's going on, because there's always 2 games at once. But it's never set up that way.
I think the Sky Sports Halo account is a very it's a small part of a very larger problem when it comes to logistics and women's sport.
Yes.
It's already really difficult to access the most fundamental things that any other sport, if it were the men's game, you'd be able to access easily.
Oh, of course.
I think Goal Rush is a fantastic idea, and I don't see why it's not implemented other than the fact that the eyeballs are not the same. But you're asking an audience that's paying you top dollar to watch and be able to consume football. You'd want the best product.
Yeah, and it's not hard to polish it up with little things like Goal Rush, for example. Another thing that I could easily come on the pod, Google getting rid of live result. Like, if you look at a game, you can't see what's happening in the game till after it. You don't know who scored.
Yeah.
Basically, you've made FOTMob richer by basically making your UI for women's
Sponsor
football
us.
shit. Yeah, it's embarrassing that they, like, the little things that they just limping out on because it's women's sport is just kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, I agree.
But that concludes our Benchwarmers Awards, as we are going to move to what would Kang do 12. So obviously last week we missed the 11, but it means we're going to do a 12 and add a manager. So we're going to do Kang's 12. We're going to do Kang's name XI versus the Kang pilled XI. We're going to talk about the Kang name XI. So I've got a 4-3-1-2. Yeah, 4-3-1-2 formation. So in goal, we've got Kang, Kangtring, Bergkang. And Katrin Berger. Right back, Cashley Lawrence, Naomi Germa, Young Millie Bright, and Young Pastor. Yeah. So this is all time as well.
You couldn't do better with the right back?
With the right back?
Yeah.
Who could I was thinking, who could we put? You have to improvise there.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
I think Cashley Lawrence, also because she played for for a few of them, like, it's not too bad. I've got Missy Bokangs, Mishi Bokangs, sorry, because of Michelle. We got Kangadal and Sakanga Kang Chowie. Yeah. Then in the 10, we got Laura Frykang, and then two up front, Kangnes Beaver Jones and Michelle Adjekang. Yeah, has to be the captain, Michelle Adjekang. So, and then your manager is Vlad Kang and Danovskang. So that's your 4-3-1-2.
Nice.
Where does that come in the league, that team?
Because you've said...
Look at the back line, though.
Because you've said them
in
Kang's, what is it? Kang accent, Kangsent, right? I had to actually look at them.
Yeah, AKB in goal. Millie Bright, Germa, Lawrence, Young Pastor. That's a near Prem title. That's a WSL title.
Yeah, I'd be a bit concerned about that right back, but okay. Yeah. No, you could do better than Missy Bokangs. Come on.
Mishi Bokangs. Kangadal and Kang Chow. Yeah, it's a weak midfield.
It's a very weak midfield.
Yeah, but you have Laura Frykang to cover in the 10.
Yeah, okay, sure.
So it's a bit of a diamond. Think of it as a diamond with Mishi in the 6.
Yeah. Yeah. Michelle Adjub Kang will always, she'll get goals, obviously.
Yeah, Michelle and Beaver.
But Beaver Jones,
20 goals a season between the two of them. Surely third.
I just think where's where's Kang Stenius?
Kang Stenius?
The most Kang-pilled player is Black Stenius. No, but
that's Kang. This isn't Kang-pilled. This is the Kang name. The Kang pilled is like, I don't think Kang Stenius is better than Kangner's Beaver Jones. You'll have to ask our audience about that. We'll see who they prefer. But that's just asking who prefers Arsenal or Chelsea. But then you compare to the Kang pilled XI.
Okay, sure.
So this is no names. This is just who's the most Kang pilled.
This is what I thought initially when you came up with this. Yeah.
So we're going leggy ball.
Okay.
3-4-1-2.
Leggy ball.
3-4-1-2. So goalie, Endler has to be Kang. Most Kang. I think she's the most Kang pilled goalie.
Okay.
I think she has to be.
Yes,
because she came in the Kang era.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. 3 centre halves.
Yeah.
Kang Mackay. Yeah. Yeah. Saki definitely Kang pilled.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the way she talks about her. Esme, centre half, has to be.
Definitely.
And then Kisa Silla, who's played for both Kang.
That's incredible, actually.
Yeah,
well
played
done.
for both Kang clubs. Yeah, so that's your 3.
Yep.
Then we got Trinity Rodman playing the up and down.
Thank you.
Yeah, Trinity left mid.
That's right,
yeah.
yes.
You've got in the 4, so this is the 4, right? Kangadong.
Yeah, definitely.
Maria Perez. Yeah, has to be. And then Diani on the Kang Diani on the right. So imagine Rodman and Diani running up and down.
Wait, I need to see who you have up front.
Tobin Heath in the 10.
Yeah, definitely.
Tobin Heath in the 10. And then Kang's Lani as a second striker to Marie Antoinette Kang.
You are missing.
Who am I missing?
Nikita Paris.
No, I had Paris.
Kang Paris.
No, I had Paris. I did have Nikang to Paris. But I thought Kang's Lani's kind of taking her over.
No, but this is...
The way she's talking about Michelle Kang compared.
But what I saw from a woman who should probably not speak for my ears and yours and everyone else's. Nikita Paris speaks about Michelle Kang like she's a mother.
I did have her in, I took her out. That was the thing. I did have her in, but I took her out. I just thought she wasn't good enough.
Jesus.
She wasn't good enough. Like, Kangslani, like, just levels above in that second striker position.
Sure.
But obviously, that midfield, by the way, the Kang-pilled midfield.
That is a crazy...
Rodman, Van der Donk, Maria Perez, Diani.
There is no defending there.
There is no communist proletariat there in that midfield. But, okay, the question is... and manager, obviously,
Geraldez, obviously,
Mr. Kang 2, the Kang 1.
Who wins?
But, yeah, who wins? The Kang team...
No, the second one. Like,
second
so
one?
obviously.
You really think so?
Look at the midfield of the second one.
No, I agree, but look at the back line of the second one. Saki, Kumagai, Esme, and Silla with Endler in goal. Against Beaver Jones and Adjucate. But will they get the ball to them? No, Young Pasta at the left, inverts, comes through, saves the midfield. Think of this as more like a 2-5-3.
I think... Look, I'm going to say it's a draw, but I do think that Kang pilled too.
No, the Kang pilled team has better names in it, and Kang Toto up front against Naomi Gurma though. It's Yongmi. The Yongmi backline is pretty crazy, but yeah, let us know in the comments what you think is a better team out of the Kang name versus the Kang pilled. That will be every 11 weeks. We'll do a new 11.
Okay, cool, easy.
We'll mix up the teams. We'll do some different things like who's most likely to Kang.
Well, historic
Kang. Yeah. Like we'll get through them all.
Who's most likely to Kang?
Yeah, who's most likely to Kang pill? Yeah.
Beth Mead.
Beth Mead at LCL next year. I can definitely see it. But that is all we have for What Would Kang Do? And that is all we have for our podcast this week. Yeah, so we are on Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and I know we are getting the love on TikTok right now, whether it's, mainly it's just player buffs. We just got to talk our talk about the players
people just love their favorite players.
Yeah, people just love a little bit of glaze, and that is so fair. So let us know your favorite players so we can make a stark edit.
Hopefully it's Emily Fox.
We'll wait for Emily Fox to score some worldie before you can. Worldie where you don't end up losing the game because of it. But yes, that is all we have. Yeah. And wait, 1 second. I forgot. How often do we make content?
Every week.
Every week?
Every week.
Bless. Yeah, that's all we have. And see you next week. And we'll talk about the UCL games. And it'll be a long 3 hours. So enjoy this short one. Bless. And catch you next week. Ciao.